We do Belvedere, we do Grey Goose, only top shelf stuff, Harry.
Sure.
And Tito's is an American-made one, and it's a quality item. So it's not like we just, we don't get our Tito's for free.
No.
We get our money for nothing.
Right.
And our chicks for free.
Yeah.
And our locks for free. Is Mike North there, Robin?
Yes, he is.
Speaking of locks, you want to talk about legendary performers? You want to talk about, forget the monsters of the Midway, Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about Jim McMahon.
Forget about Butkus.
Ditka.
Yeah.
Butkus. Buddy Ryan. The Cubs. The White Sox.
Richard Dent.
Yeah. There's only one guy that everybody knows in Chicago, long after those other guys are gone, where most of them are, and that is the great Mike North. How are you?
How are you guys?
I'm good, Mike.
Up.
How are you, man?
Thanks for the compliment. The same back at you. I can start rattling off the Philly guys. I don't care if you're talking about Bobby Clark. I don't care if you're talking about Sylvester Stallone. I don't care if you're talking about Mike Schmidt, Pete Rose. Mm-hmm. You got Bruno and Mays. That's it.
And don't forget
Nick. Double, baby.
And don't forget Nick Foles, who you have now out there in the Windy City, the man who was the MVP of this only Super Bowl.
Did you have
I'll tell you what. I just talked to Jim McMahon. He's much more a reasonable man than he ever was before. I think age does that to you, fellas.
Why? So Jim, is he still playing golf without any shoes on, though? Right? Jim McMahon?
Oh, yeah. He's still, he's still up to his old hijinks and stuff like that. But, he's mellowed out. The golf tournament that he played in Las Vegas, but, Lake Tahoe, he hasn't played as much as he used to. I guess he told me he went overseas to Colombia and had like 1 million cells put into his neck, his shoulder, his bodies, and everything like that to revive his body. And I said, well, why didn't you stay here and do it? He goes, because they won't give you that much dose at a single time. They want to just slow ride you, so you keep going for the treatments.
Was it like stem cell stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And he has it in his shoulders, his neck. I mean, the guy basically, he looks pretty good for a guy that's a wreck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's where they take out your own stem cells, and then they spin them in a centrifuge, I guess, and put them back in. And
right.
Well, that's good to hear he's doing better. Because the last time that I knew about him, he was having a hard time going out of the house. He'd be in darkness all the time. Like he had to stay inside where it was dark because he had headaches and stuff, right?
Right. That's one of the other things. He said his headaches have gone down substantially. He says, well, I go, where did you have to go to get it done? He goes, Medellin, Colombia. I go, wait a minute. Isn't that where that one guy came from?
Yes, Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, Medellin.
The Medellin cartel.
Whatever, Medellin.
It's Medellin.
But whatever.
I got a summer house there.
Nervous? He goes, yeah, the first week I was a little nervous, but it's a nice town. And he says, after a while, everything was okay. But I said, you had to have some trepidation, didn't you? He says, absolutely, when he first got there. But then, hey, he's back, so everything worked out.
Great.
Yeah, I watched the show on Science Channel where they tore down Pablo Escobar's house, his apartment building, and his ghost was in it before they tore it down. There was actually somebody in the upper level. Remember that, Robin?
You serious?
And it looked like somebody was still in the building because he purportedly got killed, but nobody ever found his body. It's sort of like Hitler. And then here he was, and they tore it down, and there was somebody walking around in the upper. I'm not making this up.
No, I have to admit, I mean, I'm way more skeptical than Tony. And in the video, you can clearly see what looks like something or somebody still there.
I believe in that stuff.
That's good Colombian knowledge, right?
Could it have been a bad deal gone awry, and then they just grabbed the guy and, made him the sacrificial lamb as they were knocking down the building?
It could have been to somebody in there also who was looking, because apparently he left a lot of stuff in there. And somebody in there saying, hey, they're going to blow this thing down and implode it. So let's go in there and see if there's any stuff left. And the guy was in there when they actually brought the building down. There's video on it. That's what I do at night when there's no sports on.
But now we got a lot of sports, and we're captivated by the hockey here, Mike. And I'll tell you, the Chicago Blackhawks are making noise out in Edmonton. Do you think they have a legit chance to move on to the next round?
You know what? I didn't think they'd win the first round. So I'm not the guy that really should be the expert on this, but they have a team of pedigree like Kane, Taves. They got a pretty good veteran defense. Their goalie, Crawford, was hurting. We thought for a little bit there. But Edmonton, which was, the first game, for instance, they were minus 164 on a $100 bet. And the Blackhawks took it to them. So I think the Blackhawks are probably going to move on, but it's not over yet. Am I right? I mean, this is what, best of 5? Is this how they're doing this?
Yes, so
Right.
they got to win one more game, and they eliminate the Edmonton Oilers, and that's a huge upset.
In their own building.
Yes, with no fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does that mean if you're in your own building with no fans?
You should
If I'm
still
in my
win.
own
It's your own
kitchen and
building.
My wife isn't home,
Yeah,
I'm
but-
not eating.
Yeah, but you're in your own locker room. I know I messed up your joke. I'm sorry. What was the line again? I'm sorry.
No, I
Right.
just said if I'm in the kitchen and my wife ain't there, I ain't eating.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, that's right up Harry's
right.
alley.
Robin, I got to be straight up. Without her, I mean, I'm emaciated. I'm
Right.
happy on. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I did notice that she was. I'm assuming that was her helping you log on to the Zoom room.
She's the Chicago version of you. I mean, you know.
Thank
be honest
you.
with you,
Thank you. Well, you
if
are a
if
very
you don't
lucky
have the
man.
ladies with, believe me, I mean, I spent half the money I made, and we still got plenty. So I don't know what happened.
Beautiful.
I think she told me we blew it all, and then she said she bought Starbucks stock back in the early '90s,
Oh.
and everything worked out. But
It's a smart,
Smart
woman,
woman,
right
yeah.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, unfortunately, Tony doesn't have that in me.
exactly right. Meanwhile, Mike North, and now Mike, obviously you're doing well in your second
Yeah.
life, which is sports gambling and sports betting stuff, right?
well, yeah, you know, I had basically worn out my welcome, Tony. I think that you and I would be, if we ever have a real long conversation, we have a lot of similarities about certain things. In other words, if you're getting paid a certain amount of money and you've done so many things for the company, and then they come up to you and they say, we're only going to give you half of what you used to make. And then, you know, I just walk on from there. Then I worked at Fox like you did.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm at ESPN. I really reinvented myself because I did regular talk for like 16, no, really at Fox too, with the score about 23, 24 years. And then I said, you know, I'm going to try to do a gambling type of situation. I think, you know, I started a show back in 1989 called the NFL Handicap Show. And it was a small wattage type thing in Chicago. But I thought handicapping would be much bigger by now. I don't know what took it so long. I think politicians really were the ones that basically, and the boys earlier in the years that didn't want to split the pot with somebody. But now I decided to get into the gambling thing. And then I got in a contest in the Sun Times in the NFL where I went 18-1-1.
Wow.
Don't ask me how I did it. For 5 weeks, don't ask me how you had to pick 4 games. I went 18-1-1. ESPN noticed that. The local thing, I won $100 from B because I told her someday I'd work for ESPN, and she told me, well, basically you're the Antichrist over there, but good luck to you. And then,
I know,
so now
even
I'm
the
over
Philly
there on
Godfather,
Fridays.
even our Philly
Yeah.
Godfather legendary guy knows the greatness of Mike North.
Oh, you know, Philly Godfather's one of the best. In fact, I did some stuff with Philly Godfather early on, taught me a lot about the business. And you know what? He could still throw a right. He could still throw a left. He's a street guy like us. And that's basically that's what I gravitate to. Street people. You know, when I ever see sports talk hosts with their photos, the 8x10s, and they're wearing suits, I just move on.
Exactly right, man.
No suits on this show.
Hell no.
No
Man,
way.
I see people with blazers. I go, wait a minute. Are we doing a debate or are we at the bar? You know what I'm saying?
One of my favorite Chicago shows, which was on nationally, of course, was the Sports Writers. Remember those guys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Know them all. Knew
Tellender,
'em all.
wasn't he
Rick
on there?
Tellender was the youngest guy back then,
Right.
right? Because those guys were all older. The cigars would be lit
Oh,
up.
I
and
love
that's-
that.
That was a great show,
Yeah.
man. That was back in the
Yeah,
day.
Rick's getting a little long in the tooth, too. He looks like he saw Pablo Escobar's ghost.
Oh, wow. No, I've known Rick for, we all know
No,
those guys.
Rick's a good guy. I played ball with Rick. We had fun basketball. But Bill Joust is gone now. Ben Bentley, Joe Musho, they were all terrific. They really were, and did a great job. And they really started this whole deal.
I agree. But, back before the heads in the boxes on television yelling, those guys sat around a table, smoked cigars, and talked Chicago sports. And even when they were talking Chicago, it was still a national show. You could see that everywhere, man.
Yep. It was an awesome show. Ben Bentley, who, by the way, they got a mascot. Ben Bentley was like the PR announcer for the original Chicago Bulls. So they named the mascot Benny the Bull after Ben Bentley. Just a little bit of Chicago useless sports trivia for you.
I
my
did
friend.
not know that,
Wow.
man. I did not know
Yep.
that. That's great.
Absolutely.
That's local knowledge right there, Harry.
Yeah, and then now you got the Cubs running away with the Central
I
Division
know. What's
early
up
on.
with the Cubs, man? 9
Well, I
and
always
2.
said if you played a 60-game schedule, they'd kick ass every year.
No, but even you have to say,
We won more Aprils and Mays than anybody in the history of the game, including the Yankees.
wow, Mike North. I love cynical local guys
Yes.
on their clubs. I mean,
No,
that
no,
happens in
no.
all cities. No,
They're-
we're all the same. I mean, you guys are the same. We're the same. All the fans are the same in these cities where they expect their teams to do well, and then they get off to good starts, and then something goes terribly, terribly wrong.
No, you know what? I think the Cubs are going to. I took the over, which was 32 in Vegas, but I took the under with the White Sox. Right now, that's teetering. I do know this. The White Sox are looking at the calendar, and they're saying, well, can we play Kansas City for another month? You know what I mean? Or can we play Milwaukee without Lorenzo Cain for another couple weeks? But we played Cleveland and Minnesota, and we went 1-4 against them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but Minnesota is really, really good. I mean, they have.
They're stacked.
I mean, the Twins and the Cubs have the same record. That's the amazing thing.
Yes, they have the same record, although the Cub bullpen is the worst in the National League, and the starting staff is the best, which is unusual.
Wait, have you seen the Phillies bullpen, Mike? I mean, Phillies
Have you seen Kimbrough, Harry? Have you seen Kimbrough?
True, and based on the
You know
money
what?
he makes.
When I was a kid, and that was many years ago, yeah, my mother had me. She tells me in a covered wagon, and it was. But seriously, Kimbrough's 5'7". Every great stopper I ever knew, outside of Mariano Rivera, who had that thing that fell off the table. It's a one-inning game. But, I mean, Raleigh Fingers, Goose Gossage, Terry Forster, all these guys were like 6'2", or they looked bigger than life. And then you see Kimbrough come in, his arms waving, he's 5'7", about 180 pounds, and his fastball's about 88 miles an hour, and it's straight right now.
Wow.
I remember when there was a bidding war for him, right?
Goes, I better get a change-up, you're in trouble.
Remember, 2 years ago, everybody wanted Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, we got to get him.
Yep.
Oh, we got to get him. No, we're going to get him. He's going to go here. He's going to go there. And then something happens.
The Phillies bullpen, I haven't kept up on them.
It's pretty bad.
Is it like ready to pour gasoline with the match?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
By the way, the Flyers have scored again now. It is Travis Sanheim with a goal. It's 2-0 Flyers over your Washington Capitals in the second period. And they're playing well now, too.
I think Flyers, I think Bernie Parent.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
He's
I
a
think
friend of the
Flyers,
show.
I think him. And the rest of the guys were just animals, but Bernie Parent was a terrific goaltender that gets overlooked.
No, I agree. I mean, he's a god in this city, and he's one of the friends of the show, and we talk to him all the time. He's just a phenomenal. He's not just a great. He wasn't just a great Hall of Fame player. He's one of the characters of the game too, man. The guy is awesome.
Hey, let me ask you something. That T-shirt you got on, Tom.
Yes.
Little Tampa Bay.
No, this is the original
talk to you?
TB, Tony Bruno, not Tom Brady.
Okay.
I've been around. I'm a lot older than Tom Brady. I'm the original TB.
You're the original guy. Okay.
Exactly. Tony Bruno, TB.
best.
Terry Bradshaw is, I think, is about my age.
Right.
He's not the original TB. Tom Brady isn't.
And that is just one of the shirts that is available on
Exactly
TonyBrunoShow.com
right.
shop.
Big in
I
Chicago.
remember Terry Bradshaw. The Bears got Mike Hull after we lost the coin flip. That was the end of that. You know.
Is that right?
Yeah, Terry Bradshaw. You know what? What a gregarious guy he is, man.
Yeah.
You
We
know?
got to hang out with him last year in Atlantic City. He did a one-man show, and Robin and I went and saw him backstage because I work with him at Fox in L.A. And he's good. He can sing.
Yeah.
Terry's really talented,
Like
man.
country music, right?
Yeah, he has his
Yeah.
own stuff.
Yeah.
And he's funny. It was a great show.
Nice.
Actually,
You know, he's got
somebody
to drop the fork a little, don't you think, though?
Oh, yeah. Somebody said, actually, that I'm wrong. Fair Mother Marvin checks in and says the OG original TB was tuberculosis.
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
Oh, come
See,
on.
that's the kind
Man,
that's
come
the way
on now.
That's what people think. That's the mindset
Was it?
of
No,
people.
the telethon was big, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
The Jerry Lewis telethon?
Yes, but that wasn't tuberculosis, was it? Jerry
No, that
Lewis
was
was.
something
That was a March of Dimes, wasn't it? For kids?
no. Jerry Lewis was muscular dystrophy, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
If I'm
I
not
used to
mistaken.
love Jerry Lewis. He'd go, give me your money or I'm going to have somebody come to your house and kill you. I mean, he wasn't very nice about asking.
He was a miserable guy.
He was.
He
My
really
God.
was.
You know,
Not
I
like-
called him once. We found out he was doing Damn Yankees in Chicago. I love Jerry Lewis. I go, we got my producer, Jesse Rogers, who now's with ESPN, does a good job doing baseball. He called him at the Blackstone Hotel or something, and Jerry Lewis answers. He goes, hey, my guy Mike North loves you on the radio. He's on right now. He'd love to get you on. He goes, I don't do radio, and he hung up the phone.
No way,
Wow.
really?
Yeah, then I rooted for his next movie was a bomb.
You got any action on the PGA?
Yeah, I got Ricky Fowler today against DeChambeau and Adam Scott plus 175 on the 100 just for, I'm a shut-in now. We don't go anywhere.
Right,
I mean, so I'm betting golf now, and I never used to bet golf, but I'm really enjoying it. And, every match, forget about this week because it's a major, but I mean, I'll bet the Cleveland Open in Wyoming. It will be like a major. You know what I mean?
Open in Wyoming.
Brought to you by, Trojans.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
It got bigger this year. They're going Magnums, I think.
Right.
They're going to be giving those out to the non-fans. They'll just throw them out into the parking lot if people are driving by.
Are those
In
the large ones?
Yes, those are the large ones.
Oh, okay.
Those are the ones I
Hey,
wear. That's
I'm
the
not-
only ones I can fit in.
Well, I'm half Irish. You'll understand.
my,
I'm half Irish, half Italian. I want to drink. I just don't feel like paying.
speaking of that, I need a refill here. I'm drinking right now, Mike,
Yeah.
and
What are you having?
we're doing Tito's and
hook you
vodka.
up.
Tito's and vodka. Tito's and cranberry.
Because I never drank on the year tone. I swear to God. But let me ask you something.
Yes.
About 5 or 6 a show.
No. Just usually only Fridays in our final hour. We call it happy hour. But today, because I wasn't feeling well.
The first thing is you're told when the man answers like that is denial.
No, I don't. I don't drink at all during the
Are you
week.
sure?
I swear to
Harry,
God.
is he all right?
Robin, do
No.
I drink during the
No,
week?
and it's proof is in the pudding because of the fact that we have videos on now. People can actually see whether Tony's telling
yeah.
the truth or
No,
not.
I'm the one with the problem on this show. Let's be honest.
It's not a problem. Harry got to play Pine Valley today, so he deserves a cocktail.
Yeah.
Pine Valley.
Yeah. One of
Right
the most
outside,
famous
right,
golf
is that a
courses.
Jersey course? Is that a
Yeah,
place?
it's
Yeah.
one of the most famous golf courses on earth, and it's impossible to get on.
Wow. Who do
Yeah.
you know here? Well, you know everybody.
And no, I just knew the right guy. He's a friend of the
That's it.
show. He loves the show.
But
Exactly.
but I did find out that just like in Fight Club, Golf Club has the same thing. You don't talk about who got you on the course.
Exactly.
Exactly
You
right.
never
That's
mention
it. Yeah,
it.
you better not.
That's right.
Now, Mike, we talk about the NBA a lot, obviously, and, the Bulls aren't around, and now the Laker game tonight is going to be non-important because LeBron's not going to play. Half of the guy, everybody's waiting, Rockets and Lakers, this one's going to be a good one. And it's obvious that many of these games don't mean anything, and a lot of guys don't want to
Right.
take any chances, right?
There's no doubt. And, I mean, a friend of mine who you guys know and love, and I got to interview him a couple times, once on my TV, Wilt Chamberlain.
Yep.
It boggles my mind. He'd be spinning in his, circular bed right now. I mean,
And he
with
would
the-
not
with
be
the
alone.
Thunder outside, the man-made thunder that he had incorporated in his home in the rain. If he saw that, he averaged 48 and a half minutes a game or something like that. One year, he never fouled out. He played every minute, every game. It's just sad what's happened to them. The ratings are showing it. Major League Baseball's having trouble there. I haven't heard about the NHL yet, but at least they're standing, which isn't going to alienate anybody. It's not about who's sitting, who's standing. It's who's leaving the set, who's sticking around. And that's basically, it's a marketing deal, and that's gone awry for them because a lot of people just don't like what they're doing. And they've decided to go this distance for now. That doesn't mean things won't change down the line.
No, but the good thing is the gambling degenerates will watch no matter what.
Right.
You could
Hey,
have
let me
Satan,
tell you
can have
something.
Satan
They
playing
could be in
Jesus,
German
and you would watch.
uniforms. They could be in. They could be in. I'd be betting them. It don't matter. I'll bet on a war if I have to. What did we do while things were going on? I bet on the raindrops one night.
No way. Come on, Mike.
Well,
Well, what did you
I'm
get?
not
How
a
many?
degenerate.
What was the over/under?
Wait. There's 24 hours in a day, Tom. 24 hours. I get up at about 4. I'm sunk after about 5:15. What now? What?
Now, were you watching the Korean baseball before we actually had sports start
No.
coming back?
No, but what's funny is when they had to cut. I remember people laughing back in the day when they had professional wrestling, and people would go, "Look at they do it in a studio with cardboard cutouts. What a bunch of fools. And now Major League Baseball and everybody else is doing it. And I don't know. I don't like the look. Just play naturally like a high school game, which, you and your family would attend if, your brother was playing or something. But I don't miss the fans at golf. I don't really miss the fans all that much. Do you?
No. I think
No.
you can get away with it in golf because the crowd really doesn't add much, except at the 18th. When you're walking down the fairway on the final round, the crowd goes wild.
Some guy yells, Tony Bruno. You think I need to hear that?
Well, I like it when people do that.
Hey,
Hey, yo.
Right before the guy's going to hit.
I got to ask you about the Chicago Bears because training camp's about to start, and now there's a lot of people in the media. They're not going to play football. They're not going to do this. What's the mood in Chicago, and what's the deal with the Bears as far as Foles versus – do you have a Foles versus Trubisky debate going on right now?
Absolutely. I wasn't a Trubisky guy. I thought it was a mistake to move up to number 2. But let's be honest about something, fellas. The man got drafted in the same year as Watson and Mahomes. It's no different than what happened with the 1 year in 83-84 when 6 quarterbacks were drafted. It took a couple of them time to get going, although they were all very talented. Trubisky, Tony and Harry, in 3 years, I want to ask you if these are bad stats. 85% for 85 quarterback rating, 63%, 49 touchdowns, 28 interceptions, and 8,500 yards. And he made the playoffs one of the 3 years. Now, I know last year he went 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. It was a down year. But if you read those stats across the board for 3 years, and he's only 25 years old, and he had not a lot of experience, I think those are good stats for a 3-year man. What do you think?
I agree, but people don't care when you're the second pick in the draft and the guys that were taken behind you.
Right.
It's the same thing with Foles. I mean, Foles.
And they traded up to get him.
Foles fell into their lap. They wanted Russell Wilson in that draft. Andy Reid wanted Wilson, and then Seattle moved up and plucked him away, and Foles fell into the Eagles' laps. And he was here, and then he left, and he came back, and Foles was in the perfect spot. Again, I don't know what the dynamic is. I hear the room is good over there. But Foles, I think there's going to be a legit competition because I don't know whether the coach is going to have to say, this is my guy. He doesn't have to make the decision now.
The problem is when you have a situation like that and Trubisky starts out in his first game and throws 2 interceptions and they lose the game, immediately the fans then are all like, hey, the other guy won a Super Bowl. Put him in. And then the whole thing starts.
You know what, Harry? What they can do and what I've suggested they're going to do, because there might not be a training camp. There might not be a lot of physical stuff going on. So who's got the advantage? First of all, I happen to know, and this is for all you folks out in Philly, but we have a website on Bears Bar Room that you can go to too. But we give you all the current Bears news. Trubisky been working out with the first-string offense in the suburb of Buffalo Grove for about 2 months. Foles, his wife had a baby. He's been bit. He's had other things that come up. He was ill for a while. And I just think he's at a disadvantage in this season to get the start. Nagy drafted him along with Pace. They both drafted this guy. And I just think those stats will give him some time. And I just can't get over the fact that Nick Foles, guys, even though he had the right team in Philadelphia, great offensive line, great defensive line, good system, I can't get over the fact that he's one of the biggest free agent busts in history after what happened in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And he had 3 interceptions for 97 yards. With Philly, he was a different guy.
Absolutely.
Did you not agree?
No,
Absolutely.
you're right. He's never been the same quarterback except when he was here.
And he fell into the position of, he's a free agent. Teams say, hey, let's take this guy. We'll pay him. And, we'll see what happens. But
Has he ever even played a full year? No. Has he ever started the season? No. I don't think.
We love the guy. I mean, obviously, he's a great kid, too. So it's not like he's because he won a Super Bowl. I think he was always a good guy, and he always did his job.
Yeah.
And he's got one of the statues in town that wasn't pulled down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His statue will never be torn down.
That guy Wentz. I saw the training camp, the Philly training camp. The guy Wentz walks in. There's a mural. There's a mural of like Foles with the trophy in his hand.
It's dangerous here, man. It's real dangerous. Sort of like this, Chicago someplace. Hey, Mike, we got to run, man. Always great to talk to you.
Real quick, it's like having a spaghetti joint. The billboard above the spaghetti joint's got a steak joint ready to go.
Mike North. How do you follow him?
North 2. 2 north, the number 2.
The number 2,
Yeah.
north to north. And the
Thanks,
Bear.
guys.
What's the Bears website?
It's called Bears Bar Room, and also I'm on ESPN 1000 on Fridays and Saturdays, guys. Look it
Beautiful.
up.
I used to be on that station with Mike Golick, the very first morning show there, the ESPN.
God bless you, Tony. You're hey, talk about a legend, my friend. Appreciate it.
Mike Golick, yeah, he's walking away.
No, I was talking about Harry. Hey, Robin, thanks. Take care.
There he is, Mike North, everybody.
Love that guy.
We got our Midwest correspondent
Oh, yes.
there. Hey. You can't get any more Chicago than that.
No. I mean, he is Midwest.